Hello students, in the previous lecture video we had discussed about the definition of prefabrication, the necessity and scope of prefabrication in India, and we had discussed about the current uses of prefabrication. In today's lecture video we shall discuss about the types of prefabricated systems and the classification of prefabricated systems and the merits and demerits of prefabrication systems. So let's start with the types of prefabricated systems. There are three types of prefabricated systems, namely modular, panelized, and hybrid prefab. The three-dimensional components built almost entirely in a factory environment and delivered to the site for installation is known as the modular prefabricated system. Whereas the 2D panel homes would be partially installed in a factory environment, and after that it would be delivered to the site for assembly and construction. That type is known as the panelized type of prefabricated system. A combination of 2D panel and 3D modular construction is known as the hybrid prefab. Let's move on to the next topic, which is classification of prefabrication. So the prefabrication is classified as follow from the view of degree of precast construction. Small prefabrication, medium prefabrication, large prefabrication, cast inside prefabrication, offsite or factory prefabrication, open system of prefabrication, closed system of prefabrication, partial prefabrication, and total prefabrication. Small prefabrication. The first three types are mainly classified according to their degree of precast elements using in that construction. For example, brick is a small unit precast and used in building. This is called as small prefabrication. That the degree of precast element is very low. Medium prefabrication. Suppose the roofing systems and the horizontal members are provided with precast elements. Those construction are known as medium prefabricated construction, where the degree of precast elements are moderate. Large prefabrication. In large prefabrication, most of the members like wall panels, roofing or the flooring systems, beams and columns are prefabricated entirely. So here the degree of precast elements are high. Cast inside prefabrication and offsite prefabrication. One of the main factors which affect the factory prefabrication is transport. The width of walls, mode of transport, vehicles are the factors which prefabrication is to be done on site on factory. Suppose the factory is situated at a very long distance from the construction site and the vehicle have to cross a congested traffic with heavy weighted elements. The cast inside prefabrication is preferred in those areas. Offsite prefabrication is preferred only when number of houses are more and the conveyance is easier with normal type of loading. Therefore, we can adopt a factory or offsite prefabrication for this type of construction. Open system of prefabrication. In the total prefabrication systems, the space framers are casted as a single unit and erected at the site. The wall fitting and the other fixings are done on site. This type of construction is known as open system of prefabrication. Closed system of prefabrication. In this system, the whole things are casted with fixings and erected on their position. Partial prefabrication. In this method of construction, the building element, mostly the horizontal members required, are precast and then erected. Since the casting of horizontal elements often take their time, the completion of building is delayed and hence this method is restored. In most of the building sites, this method is quite popular. Use of double T's, channel units, slabs, etc. are some of the examples of horizontal elements. The delay is caused due to erection of formwork is eliminated completely in the method of construction. Uh, it is suitable for any type of building provided lifting and erection equipments are available. Total prefabrication. Very high speed can be achieved by using this method of construction. The method can be employed for frame type of construction or for panel type of construction. And the total prefabrication can be on-site or off-site. This method is to be adopted. If this method is to be adopted, then we must have a very good transportation facility. If the elements are cast near the building site and erected, the transportation of elements can be eliminated. But we have to consider the space availability for establishing such facilities, though it is temporary. The choice of method of construction also depends upon the following: type of equipment available for erection and transportation, the type of structural scheme, type of connections between elements, special equipment devised for special method of construction. Uh, the advantages of prefabrication. Building in hazardous areas. So prefabrication has distinct advantages in remote areas, areas prone to disasters, areas hit by disasters, where accessibility and availability of manpower, transportation of materials, and time available for construction is minimal. In such cases, prefabrication offers the best option which can help in creating construction in minimum possible time at minimal cost. Further, in hilly areas which suffer from extreme climatic conditions, prefabrication can also help in creating well-insulated structures, making them least susceptible to extreme outside climate. Leh, Ladakh, etc. are the areas where prefabrication is the best option for construction. Assured quality construction. Since prefabrication has genesis in construction of majority of building components in industrial setting, under highly controlled environment involving lot of quality checks and balances, the components produced are accordingly of assured uniform quality, unlike the site-built structures, which are totally dependent upon the varying skill levels and the schedules of independent contractors. Modular buildings are invariably manufactured to code, making owners free from the worry of quality, saving of time and energy involved in supervision, which is a major issue in the traditional method of on-site construction. Material efficiency. Prefabricated buildings are known for their material efficiency, both on-site and off-site. These buildings do not produce waste since all required material for construction arrives in the finished state on-site. Since the components are produced in the factory, they leave or create very little waste during the manufacturing, assembly, disassembly, and the construction process, which involves just putting together all components as per approved design. Further, since no material is brought to the site as in the on-site construction, there is no wastage due to human operation and loss of material due to theft, etc. Cost efficiency. Greatest advantages of prefabricated construction lies in its capacity to promote economy and cost efficiency, which is generally achieved through large discounts received from material suppliers, reduction in construction time, mass production of components, and economy achieved through standardization, repetitive nature of operations, and large-scale operations. Reduction of wastage and in-house recycling of extra materials also lowers down the cost of components. Despite the fact pieces being custom made, modular construction remains inexpensive due to lower time frame prefabricated construction takes as compared to the traditional construction, and the financial advantage made due to saving more money on construction financing. In addition, factory setting of the prefabrication, increased controls, better material planning, reduced material surplus, calling for less storage cost, less material loss from the damage or the pilferage, saving on labor hours and manpower costs in construction of building without weather constraints and on-site or off-site work done simultaneously. Next benefit is green construction. Though modular buildings does require a lot of power consumption at the manufacturing site, but compared to traditional constructions, they are a lot more eco-friendly, both in the long and short term. Prefabricated buildings have lower life cycle energy implications as compared to on-site construction due to optimum consumption of materials, assembly, disassembly, and recycling of the building components. As they are made inside a factory, any waste or extra material is easily recycled. Prefab buildings have minimum requirement of water due to absence of on-site watering of bricks or concrete works, making them least consumers of resources. Energy efficiency in prefab buildings is being achieved through using recycled materials. LED lighting and installing solar panels and better insulation leads to energy saving in the long run. Prefabrication or modularization is also becoming more widely recognized as a resource efficient and greener construction process due to reduced material waste and pollution, besides increased use of recycled materials. Flexibility is one of the distinct advantages provided by the modular construction based on easy dismantling and relocation of buildings to different sites, reducing wastage, reduce the demand for raw materials, minimum expended energy, and decrease time. Considering the fact prefabricated construction units can be used in different spaces, it can easily blend neutrally in any building typology. Prefabricated structures being made of numerous individual parts also permit a higher amount of flexibility in building structure uh, or the design by changing the design of the specific prefab component. Next advantage is reduced site disruption. Traditional construction involves major site disruptions for the reason that all building processes are performed on site, including transporting, storage, mixing of materials, water storage, creating residential space for the labor, etc. Whereas prefabricated construction takes much of these disruptions away from the site and limit the noise pollution, waste, and other common irritants. Since many components of the building are completed in the factory, there is significantly less truck traffic, equipment, and material suppliers around the final construction site. Time efficiency, prefab or modular construction are known for their time efficiency to build uh, than on-site construction taking in many cases. Less than half the time when compared to traditional construction due to better planning, reduced site disruptions, and quicker fabrication of multiple components. This permits construction companies to take on multiple projects simultaneously, allowing businesses to grow and make larger profits due to reduced on-site construction. Requirement of manpower and their supervision is considerably reduced, leading to high degree of construction efficiency. Role of experts visiting the site is also minimized, leading to higher operational efficiency. In prefabrications, building components are produced on a defined schedule, do not require any operation for finishing on site, including the watering of concrete, watering of brick walls, seasoning of wood, painting and polishing of wood, etc., which minimizes the time span for construction. Safety. Prefab construction is known for overall safety of the building after construction, including safety of workers at site during construction. The risks and dangers of outside construction posed by hazardous sites, weather, etc., are mostly neutralized by the fact that the components are mostly manufactured in a controlled and safe environment. The limitations imposed by prefab buildings. Despite numerous advantages which prefab construction hold, it has few limitations which are enumerated below. First one is monotony. Limitations imposed by the materials and the process used in the mechanization of building products has led to imposing numerous restrictions on the designers in creating state-of-art buildings. Based on the concept of mass production and standardization, prefab buildings suffer from lack of design innovations and look monotonous, restricting additions and alternations. In addition to being monotonous, prefab buildings do not provide enough options to owners to make any change which may be necessitated. Considering the changing physical, social, and economic conditions, this generally leads to non-acceptability of the prefab buildings. Reduced resale value. Dictated by monotony and limited options for additions and alternations, prefab structures do not find any buyers in the resale market and accordingly command very low premium. Further, the general perception of the people hovering around that prefab buildings are of lower quality also put them in a poor light and reduce their resale value. Roadblock in financing. Considering the fact that prefab buildings are constructed differently from traditional buildings, accordingly their funding requirements are also at variance from traditional buildings. In prefab buildings, since most of the products are manufactured off-site in a factory, accordingly it is difficult to understand and evaluate the progress of buildings on site. In the traditional system, funding of projects is generally linked to the stages or the progress of the construction. In prefab buildings, this system does not hold good and cannot apply for the reasons of constructions being done off-site, and majority of payments are required to be made upfront. Accordingly, financial institutions feel reluctant to give loans or advances for such buildings, creating uh, disincentives for the buyers to go for such buildings. High transportation cost. Since majority of building components are manufactured off-site in the factory, and these components are in the finished mode, having large volume and weight, therefore they require specialized system of transportation to make sure the products do not suffer any damage during the loading, unloading, and transportation. Accordingly, transportation costs in the prefab buildings are invariably high as compared to traditional buildings where the building materials can be packed more densely. In addition, large prefabricated sections would be requiring heavy machinery involving cranes and precision measurement and handling during loading, transportation, and placing them in position, making them cost intensive and unattractive. Besides high transportation cost, special vehicles are required to transport these building products, calling for wide-bodied mobile vans and wide roads to facilitate their movement. Sustainability also emerges as a major issue during the transportation of materials to the construction site due to the cost and energy involved in the transportation. Next limitation is accuracy and precision. Prefabricated buildings require high degree of accuracy in manufacturing components besides working out the detailed design. Once the production starts, there are a limited option of addition, alternation, or changes, which if needed will require huge cost and dilute all the savings in the cost time which the prefab buildings command. High degree of precision is also required in the manufacturing of components because they are all made fit to size. Any variation in size will lead a lot of complications, uh, cost, time in replacement. It is rightly said a mistake in the mass production of prefabricated element ahead of the measurable site work is a serious risk. Mass production. Since prefab or modular structure is based on mass production, accordingly, it requires an industrial setup with appropriate knowledge, machinery, technical manpower, and expertise, which in turn is expensive and requires huge upfront investment. So prefab can only work if the industrial base for mass production is available in place. Creation of such base requires time and resources and a policy framework. Further, mass production works on economy of scale, and accordingly, for achieving economy, constant flow of order has to be ensured. In the absence of any assured inflow of order number, mass production, which will be feasible and economically viable. However, looking at the entire context, there exists a dicho- uh, dichotomy between the uh, industrial production and construction, because factory production requires predictable and consistent demand, whereas construction tends to require large numbers at the same time uh, than none. In addition, mass production will only succeed if there is a constant and adequate demand, which means they are more viable near large urban centers, or where large scale new construction is to come up in existence, away from small centers where there is a periodic and limited demand. Transportation cost may dilute the total process of prefab construction. Last limitation is the scaled manpower and cost. So modular construction requires large scale power, both at production and assembly site, along with machinery and infrastructure to complete the project, which in the developing countries is difficult to find across the board, which limits its application. Cost effectiveness to the large extent may not be achieved always due to additional cost involved in temporary bracing for transportation and lifting, or permanent framing to support prefabricated assemblies, beside the cost involved in the pre-assembly in the factory prior to dismantling for transport and delivery. Next, we shall discuss about modular coordination. Modular coordination is a concept of coordinating dimension and space for which buildings and components are dimensioned and positioned in basic units or modules. MS 1064 introduces a certain geometric discipline using practical approaches which relate to setup coordination and measurement of components and spaces in the building design. Definition of modular coordination. Modular coordination, or MC, is a dimensional system. It is a dimension and space coordination concept in which building and the components are placed at their designations based on the unit or basic module known as 1M, that is equals to 100 millimeter. The standard specifies that the module basic M equals to 100 millimeter as the basic unit to be used in a square of M. The introduction of modular coordination in the industry is to improve productivity and quality in building constructions, as well as to act as a tool towards rationalization and industrialization of the building industry. Modular coordination has been introduced in Malaysia since 1986, but has not been widely implemented in the building industry. The main factor limiting the uses of modular coordination in building industries is a lack of knowledge on modular coordination concept, and it requires precision dimensioning and proper planning. The characteristics of modular coordination. The basic module is small in terms of odd size in order to provide design flexibility, yet large enough to promote simplification in the components' variation in sizes. Industry-friendly features that not only cater for manufacturing but also the transportation and assembly requirements. ergonomically designed to promote efficiency, internationally accepted to support international market. The modular coordination concept. Modular coordination may be applied to the design, manufacture, and assembly of buildings, its components and installations. It also affects the work positioning and dimensioning during construction. At the work level, modular coordination allows for relative independence in decision making with a common dimensional language. The basis of modular coordination. So here we can use the basic modules or the multi-modules, a reference system to define coordinating spaces and zones for the building elements and for the components which form them, rules for locating building elements within the reference system, rules for sizing building components in order to determine their work size, the rules for defining preferred sizes for building components and coordinating dimensions for building, the objective implementing modular coordination. The principal objective of implementing modular coordination is to improve productivity through the reduction of wastages in the production installation process and to improve quality in the construction industry and to encourage an open system. With open system approach, building components could combine in a variety of individual building projects while ensuring the architect freedom in their designs. Modular coordination is an important factor in application of industrialized building system by way of standardization of components and dimensions such as the reduced time of production and installation of components, achieving the repeatability and able to construct building at lower cost. So with this we shall end the video here, and in the next video we shall discuss the architectural structure.